All right, D-Mac. Tigers, keep it pushing. Get the win over Tampa Bay Rays yesterday. And look, there's a couple of storylines. I know the Zach McKinstry thing is warm right now. But D-Mac, I wanted to start with this. And it's a baseline question. And for me, it's very simple. The Detroit Tigers right now, as we set, July 8th, have a 14-game lead in the division with just 90 games remaining. So the moral of the story, D-Mac, the major's best record, obviously, as well. But the simple question I have is this. What happens first? Do the Lions kick the ball off to start the regular season, or do the Tigers clinch the division?
Ooh.
In, what's it, September 3rd, September 4th, whatever it is?
Yeah. What was the question again?
What happens first? The Tigers clinch the division?
Did you look and see what game number that would be around for the Tigers?
September 7th is when the Lions kick off.
September 7th?
Yeah.
Or do the Lions kick off the season on September 7th? Which happens first?
Well, what game is it?
140
something?
Tigers would have 18 games left.
18 games left.
6-3 games.
So are they going to clinch with 18 games left or whatever? I think they're trending towards that right now. I mean, you're looking at the trend where in the last, few weeks, they've been able to magically put it together. But this team is what it is. So if I was a betting man, I'd say, yeah, they clinch before the kickoff. Because there's nothing to tell me that they're not gonna. They keep, and the teams in this division
stink. They stink.
They keep stinking.
Yeah.
Like nobody's shown you life. Would you give me a stat yesterday that if the Twins did what we did and went on that winning streak, we'd have to play 400 ball?
Yes. That's not happening.
Not at
Spenny, I'll check back in. The division's over, right, Spenny?
No, not yet.
Ooh, there you go,
It
Spig.
is not over until it is over. It is not over until Bartolo Colon sings. So we need to. It looks very good. We're looking real comfortable in the driver's seat. We literally saw it last year. So no.
We didn't because they didn't come back and win the division. They just made the playoffs.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. But we saw the impossible happen last year. So I'm not willing to say it's over until they have clinched the division. Anything can happen.
Okay, if you guys want to Simeon, do we have an update? What are the Tigers to win the division? Are you better off buying a savings bond or betting on the Tigers to win the division? We'll find that
10,000. Minus 10,000 now.
Minus 10,000.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's pretty close.
What is it?
It's
Pretty close.
10,000.
Pretty close to being off the board.
Spenny, do those numbers speak to you a little bit? Does
Vegas?
Vegas speak to you, brah?
Listen, I would not bet on anybody else to win this division, but nothing is impossible.
So minus 10,000. So that means it's $100 to win $1.
Yeah, like you ain't
So
making
it's
no money at
1%.
all.
You are literally better buying a U.S. savings bond than you are betting on the Tigers to win the division. Does that change it for you, Spenny?
No.
A savings bond.
No.
We've all got one kicking around our house
I
somewhere.
got a couple, yeah.
All right, Spenny, you saying that any concerns? Like
No, there's no concerns. No concerns about teams catching up, but these teams are still Cleveland's got a lot of talent. They're playing like shit. It's a team with
they're
a lot of
over
talent.
their last 10.
Yeah, and I'm not willing to say, because baseball is crazy. Anything
True.
can happen. We literally saw it last year. I'm not ready to say it's over until it's officially over.
True, but I don't think the Twins were 24 games over 500 at the time they collapsed.
That's true.
Kevin Hill, Tigers' magic number is
it's a steep climb
56.
for anybody else. I'll say
What
that.
do you think, Neil?
I think that they're going to clinch it. And I found a way to relate the material. My buddies, my Alavila text group, came up with the math on this. I don't proclaim to. I come up with good ideas, and then people execute, right? Here's the Lions' equivalent of that. If the Lions entered the second half of their 10th game number 10, with a 7.5 game division lead, that would be the equivalent, which is not possible because of the division games. But that is the math equivalent of the Lions entering the second half of the 10th game of the season with a 7.5 game division lead in the NFC North.
So in saying that, what you have an 18 or you have a 14 game lead right now? What are the other divisions? Is LA?
Everything else is fairly close. Houston's
is close.
Yeah,
So-
Houston's starting to scoot a little, and the Dodgers are starting.
Well, I'm
to
just
scoot a little.
saying, right? Because what do we always see is because all those teams are coming down up to compete with each other. So like it's going to sort of stay that way. Maybe like you said, Houston in their division pull away a little bit, but the wild card games and all this. And at the end of the day, this division sucks. Other than our team.
Are we comfortable saying, Spenny? Are you comfortable saying that?
I mean,
this division's
Cleveland's
terrible.
good. Don't say that. No, Cleveland's.
They traded Naylor, and that was the end.
It was over. Yeah, crazy.
For real. Like I don't want to say that one guy holds the whole lineup together, but he legit. Like Naylor held the whole lineup for them together. And I look what he's doing at Arizona, and he's raking still.
Yeah.
Like that is the missing piece, and it's gone. They're done. They're done.
Right.
But you look at how close they can play. See, I don't. They're done to catch it. Like to put 14 games or to come back and beat us. Right. We're a better team, but I think they're better than like Minnesota, right, and Chicago are god awful. Right? Like Minnesota, you have no respect for, right, Neil?
I was told.
Do you have respect for Minnesota as a baseball team, or they're more of a joke? Because Cleveland's not a joke.
No, Cleveland's got
Right?
talent.
They're just missing a couple pieces. And when you say that, is that something that you're worried about that they can go out and make a move?
I'm worried about Cleveland waking up because I don't think they are as bad on paper as they have been. That's the only concern you have with this, and it's not even really a concern. I do expect the Tigers to still win the division, but
all right,
if anything could ever happen, it would be Cleveland wakes up.
For the
Cleveland
real,
wake
hold
up
on.
ain't catching us.
For the guys that do the reels in the back, Spenny says Cleveland will win the division.
Got him.
Did not say that.
Spenny scared Cleveland will win the division.
Got him.
I'm not. The
Do what you do to me, guys. Come on.
The Tigers are going to win the division.
Maybe.
But like I said, I'm not locking it. Maybe.
Nah.
Anything can happen. They're
No way they
they're
dropped
the huge betting favorite, obviously. I'm not worried about anything like that happen. I'm just not ready to say it's over because it's not over.
It's not, but I mean, about as close to over as you can get.
Yeah.
Neil, I'm all
It's
in.
over.
I'm with you. Are you all in, Neil?
Yeah, I was in 3 weeks ago.
I'm all in.
And the lead's only grown since then.
Exactly.
And 3 weeks of games have gone off the calendar.
Cleveland could go on a mad run, and they still would have trouble catching us at this
It's
point.
tough to get in, like you said, and this is true. With the way Tarek Skubal takes that mound every 5 days,
It makes
it's
it hard.
almost like as slump-proof as you can get. I mean, has anybody else thought, like you look at, when they lost the first 3 games of the series until Skubal came in, was that against Cleveland or Washington or whoever it was against, and solidified. Like they've had moments where you think, okay, this is their time. Look who's on the mound. It's a bullpen game. Oh, thank goodness we have room. And that's just not the case because they just keep finding a way.
Yes, they do. And it's, again, you want to know, because it made me, over this weekend, it made me kind of look at Cleveland just like to do some kind of deep dive. And it's funny because the Twins are 14 back too, and we don't even talk about
Can
that.
I tell you something as a professional athlete, though, of what the Detroit Tigers did to the Cleveland in that game, coming back with the, pass ball manufactured? There's some sort of mental psyche that you can tap into.
That was
Like,
the final
I
dagger.
think
Yeah.
it's the first time in a long time that you can say as a Tiger, and if you're a professional player, you're like, I own them. I look it back to when we played, Neil, like we had that flex over St. Louis and Chicago and the Phoenixes and stuff like that. They were good teams, but we were just a little bit better. And I think that has got to frustrate, and especially Class A, especially their world-class closer. From last year, Carey hitting off on to this year, what we just did to him, and that mentally, I think that you the only way out is through turns around to them.
Spenny, one of my numbers buddies, texted me. He's watching the show. So, Spenny, all you have to do is put $2 million on the Tigers to win the division, and your student loan is paid for.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you don't believe, so.
Well, Neil, if you believe it's over, would you be willing to loan me $2 million for me to put on the Tigers?
That's leveraged right now. I don't have it in liquid form.
That's fair.
I'd have to move some things around.
That is
you
fair.
know that I'm not prepared to move around right now. Most of my holdings are not liquid
That's
at
fair.
this second.
That's fair. A lot of them are wrapped in furnaces and EVs.
Well,
You're
I
right.
mean, various.
Snowflake
I have a wide portfolio.
that is fair.
So there's that out there as well. No, but real quick though on the Guardians, for everybody's scared of, and Josh Naylor, who is continuing to do what he does.
How many bombs does he have?
He's got 11 with 11 steals with an 830 OPS.
Why would Cleveland
Batting
let him
300.
walk?
What's that?
Why would Cleveland let him walk?
Because they're a minor league organization. I'll say it. The Cleveland Guardians are a minor league organization. What
Fair.
are they doing? I don't know what they're doing.
Fair.
But people, and everyone listen to this, teams that let guys walk that are good players are minor league organizations.
Which is why the Tigers can't let Skubal walk.
Which is backs up to what I said last week that everybody kind of lost their mind about on social media. Good teams, good organizations do not let good players just walk like the Guardians did. And when you look at them, you have, we all know about Jose Ramirez. He's got an 856 OPS. He's the man. We all know that. 15 homers, hitting 300, all of it. Stephen Kwan is a huge pain in our ass. He's hitting 300. He's got a 770 OPS. They have not one other player with an OPS in the sevens. Kyle Manzardo, 718. No other players with an OPS in the sevens. That's why they suck. Could they use Josh Naylor?
Oh, yeah.
All day.
That's the day the music died. Like I always talk about the Tigers back before. The day the music died was when Max Scherzer left for Washington. That's when it was over, officially over. The Guardians' music died the day that Josh Naylor left to go to Arizona. It's over.
After making an ALCS. Like, that makes no sense.
And they're like a mid-teens 20th payroll, something like that. Where the Guardians are in the 20s.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
They're not a serious organization. They're not. And now I understand why. Because I used to sit there, D-Mac, and look. Guardians games were always empty. Like even in September when they'd be leading the division. And I'd be like, why? How could you do that? Now I understand why.
Cleveland's
fans
25th
know.
in payroll.
25th in payroll.
Lower than Colorado.
Yikes.
Now, Spenny, do you believe?
No,
on, Spain.
I'm not saying the division is over. It is not.
Steve-Mac, you do what you can for a guy. We had a path for him. My buddy Ryan gave him a path to rid himself of his student debt. And that's how grateful he is. No, I don't believe. We tried. D-Mac, all we can do is try.
That's all you can do. Give them opportunities, whether they take them or not.
Absolutely.